We got shit to do, goddammit. Let's go. Yeah, open up your eyes. Welcome to the game. What's your story, man? Tell me what's your fucking name. Are you ready for all the wild nights?
The second siege of Jordwuund Bay. It's quite catchy. Alright. So, it had been more than a fortnight since King Gilliam Burnevott II had seen the rest of the city. It lay just outside the great cavern that held his keep. The air was thick with blood and dead, he thought to himself as he peered towards a sliver of sunlight piercing the darkness at the mouth of the cavern. Jordwuund Grotto had massive torches that lined its walls that on most days provided light in this vast cavern, but they were ordered to be snuffed out. If the Achkulas were thick enough to charge to the mouth of the cavern, he'd have the element of surprise. Come up right behind him there, yeah. The king had never seen the noble's district so dark, only the faint light from the shadow keep far behind him fought back the darkness. Sounds quite dark there, yeah. Yes. He longed for a stroll along the black sands of Jordwuund's beach and the smell of fish markets and cool breeze from the day and sea. He had enjoyed the long peace. He became accustomed to spending most of his time in the bay enjoying the people, the fishing, and the sea. But peace never seems to last. The Achkulas had returned to lay waste to the lot of them. Gnashing teeth at the thought of those merciless animals ravaging the market, he turned to his brother Roos. "I can't wait any longer," he shouted. Damn right he shouted that. "They need more time," Roos fired back. "I understand more time, yes." No, the king knew this, of course. The Daeans are loyal to a fault. He just couldn't still the screams he heard coming from the markets just outside the safety of the cavern. He clenched his fists, digging his nails into the palms of his hands. Hardened his grip as blood began to slip past his fingers and drip onto the cavern floor. I'm gonna take a hit of my cigarette on there, because that was blood dripping past his fingers. Oh, gosh. Sure, feeling his hands wringing wet, he realized how hard he had been clenching them. Obviously, releasing his grip, he turned to face his royal guard. "Ah, men, we're leaving this cave and bringing death with us. The Achkulas will be denied their glory. Roos, make sure the Daeans bring hell with them." With the thunderous sound of 1,000-strong King Burnevott charged forth, possibly to his demise. He's charging in there. It's gonna take it. As he charged through that darkness, the cries for help from the heavens. And the king grew louder and louder. The louder the cries became, the faster the young king's pace became, until he was in an all-out sprint. Run, king. Just run. His speed separated him from his guard, but he would not relent. "I must get to them," he thought as he stepped into the blinding light of the sun, raising his left arm up to his face to block the searing rays. A dull blade crashed upon his gauntlet, breaking the hole in the bone in his forearm, spinning him right to the right and staggering him forward, almost making him fall on his face. So, he started, blinking rapidly. Just trying to adjust his sight, he snapped his head around back in the direction of the attack. Sprinting and grunting towards him was an Achkula raider wielding a hatchet. The raider raised his hatchet above his head, as he trying to strike the fatal blow on the stunned king. As the blade came down, the king sidestepped the raider's swing, countering with his own, stabbing the raider through the left side of his torso. The king then swung the blade of his sword outward, slicing through the raider's guts, spilling the raider's intestines on the ground. It's kind of gross. The raider desperately tried to scoop his insides back in, but fell to his knees before finally slumping over, lifeless. And this seems to be where the game starts.